Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Heart to Heart podcast. It is episode number 74. And I don't know about you, I took a little bit of a time off of the podcast trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life when it came to my health, my nutrition, my fitness, my goals, trying to live longer, feel healthier, and not look like a bag of crap. And so I took a little bit of extra time trying to look into fitness and routines and regimes and all these yo-yos. And should I do keto? Should I be doing carnivore diet? Should I be taking an Ozempic pill? And, throughout this entire process, I got dove into an individual's profile, a very strong woman who had a lot of strong insights and opinions. And they're not even opinionated because they're just facts about the way you should treat your nutrition and your health. Today, I have the absolute joy of talking with the owner of Beth Feraco Fitness, Mrs. Beth Feraco herself. Beth, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into your Instagram, your social media presence, your take on fitness and the crap that is put out there to us every day. Where did this journey start for you? Where did this I want to be fit, I want to be healthy start?
Wow. Honestly, it started 9 years ago when I quit drinking.
Okay.
That was the catalyst that started it all. Ultimately, I mean, I've always wanted to be in health and fitness. When I went to college, after I graduated high school, my major was nutrition, but I quit school and moved to California, which is a whole other story.
Damn.
So things kind of came, full circle. I quit drinking and ultimately got into running, started coaching at a local gym near me. Before that, I was asked to, I was taking classes there, went from taking classes there to working at the front desk, from the front desk to actually interning as a coach. And then became the personal trainer there, got certified in nutrition, personal training, mindset.
Okay.
Um, so it really started when I quit drinking.
Now I've seen a bit of it explained in your profile about, your issues with addiction, whether or not it came to drugs or
Mm-hmm.
alcohol. Do you think that first off, I can't relate in the idea of getting through that battle itself, but how much discipline do you get from going from that part of your life that potentially could have been your bottom
Mm-hmm.
to where you are now? Like, do you use some of those tips and tricks that you use to get off alcohol to stay into your fitness regime, like to stay in your mindset of saying no to certain foods or keeping yourself active?
I think honestly, my drive is really helping people, not be where I ultimately was. Because despite my drinking, I had a lot of disordered eating patterns as well. Like my mom, she was a yo-yo dieter when I was growing up. In fact, she
Okay.
still is, and she's in
Yeah.
her 70s. So I kind of like was morphed in the diet culture world. So I was, always doing something, some fasts, keto, carnivore. I've done it, literally all of it. And so I don't want people to suffer like I did needlessly because I didn't really know. I mean, you know what you know, right? And when you know better, you do better. So a lot of people just don't know now. They
Oh,
think they
100%.
need to, there's so much misinformation, especially because of social media now. I mean, we didn't have social media when I was growing up. I just had my mother, you know that
Yeah.
literally was the diet culture living in my house. So,
I
uh,
hear that. I hear that. It
um,
it really does feel like, there's so many pros and cons to social media when it comes to
right.
getting sucked into these different fad diets. It kind of makes me think of when I was younger, seeing the Jenny Craig or the like Weight Watchers type things, except for now it's just so heightened because of no matter what you're trying to do health wise, it feels like there's always a pro and a con to it. It feels like
Mhm.
there's always someone saying it's the best thing in the world and someone saying it's the worst. So it's just very hard for anyone out there that's not educated in the subject of
Yeah.
fitness and nutrition to have an idea of what to do. Now, the
Right.
coaches that I've interviewed, like I interviewed Emmeline on my last episode with my wife,
Hmm.
and she's a nutrition coach, but she comes at it the same angle as you. There's only one way to lose weight, and it is
Hmm.
to burn more calories than you consume. And I've
Hmm.
seen that that's your way as well. Is you need to be in a calorie deficit, and you
Yeah.
don't need to do it by saying no to everything for the rest of your life. Or you both seem to come at it as an angle of this needs to be something that is doable for a long period of time. Like this 2 month, 3 month change for the rest of your life is maybe cool if you have a wedding in 3 months. But after that, you're just going to go back to what you looked like and what you felt like before that.
Yeah.
Does that kind of break down
Oh yeah.
the
It's like,
angle?
yeah. I mean, no one knows what sustainability is or moderation. I used to say that a bottle of wine a night was moderation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's so many mixed messages and people thinking that in order to be healthy, you need to be miserable. But,
Yeah, and it
those
just
two
doesn't
don't have to
last.
coexist together,
Yeah.
right? And the whole like diet culture really is don't eat this, eat that, that's good, that's bad, which ultimately causes people to overeat, right? So it's like
Sure.
restriction leads to binging. So you're going to say, oh, that's so bad, I can't eat that, I'm so bad. And so then you have that, whatever it may be, again, pizza, donuts, you overconsume it, and then the cycle continues. You stay away from it. It's like, okay, what if, you know, vegetables and pizza can coexist together? you
It's
know that's
so much.
that's really what we have to learn to do, is and once food stops being like on a pedestal and you can have these things at any time, it becomes less thought in your mind,
Oh,
like.
the pressure that gets put behind it. I drive my
Mm-hmm.
wife fucking crazy. Okay, I used to be such a savage when it came to. I believed in this. I need to work out 5 days a week. I need to eat
Mm-hmm.
chicken, rice, and broccoli, and that is it. And if I want to be successful in my life, if I want to be healthy and be fit and
Mm-hmm.
feel good, this is what I have to do. And it's only recently that my wife hasn't had to deal with this disaster of my opinion on these things, because I started to realize, like, your happiness goes so far, your health, your
Yeah.
mental health goes so far into your fitness and nutrition part of your
Mm-hmm.
life that, like, now it's like, my friends message me, it's wing night. You want to go get some chicken wings? And I'm like, you know what? You're asking me before the day started. I'd pack a leaner lunch, or even just a protein dense lunch that's lower in calorie intake, so that I can continue to do that at night without putting so much pressure on myself that,
Right.
if I go for those chicken wings and I have that glass of beer and I'm over on my calories, my fucking week isn't over. Like,
Right.
I was always that, oh, we're gonna start again on Monday. I started on
Yeah.
Monday for more days than I'm been alive for, it feels like.
Yeah. That's a very common theme, right? And then you ultimately, like, you're spinning your wheels because every Monday you're starting over, but you're never getting ahead of yourself.
Ever.
It's like you're
Like,
torturing yourself during the week, binging on the fucking weekend,
yeah.
and then you're starting the whole thing and you're never making progress. You're
It's
like,
so much.
nothing is working. It's like, well, it would if you were actually fucking consistent.
100%. And it's
If
like,
you had
okay,
wings on a Wednesday, right?
yeah, yeah, and it's like, oh, you need to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, and you hated your life by Friday. So Friday you went out for a pitcher and some wings, and then Saturday you went out for McDonald's, and then you're like, oh well, the week's ruined. I might as well just like destroy this week,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll start again on Monday. And I was just living in this routine of being miserable
Yeah.
for 5 of the 7 days a week, and then just totally blowing up on the weekend. It
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Even still, luckily, I've followed people like yourselves and like Emmeline, like all the other nutrition coaches that all have a similar thing intact, where it's like, live your life, eat the things that you enjoy, but eat them in not. I saw a post and it was Emmeline talks about this fuck it bucket.
Mm-hmm.
This is your bucket and it's full of water. And essentially, she throws a little baby chocolate bar in it and the water doesn't overflow. She's like, you haven't destroyed your day. Stop thinking about it. You got to enjoy the thing you enjoyed while continuing to go through your goals. Then she
Mm-hmm.
hooked a airport sized Toblerone in the thing, and it obviously overflowed. You crushed over your calories, and you can still enjoy the things you love without having to write off the week. And
Yeah.
your approach to not babying the fucking facts of, you don't need to not eat carbohydrates. You don't need to not have no sugar. You don't need to go into a ketogenic state to
Mm-hmm.
have a good life and feel good. Where throughout this whole process did you start to find growth in the social aspect of this? Like, were you coaching before? I did see your post about, like, You were running, you fought through your different battles of alcohol or drugs, and you were overweight, and then you were underweight. And
Hmm.
where did you start to grow with this fitness journey with people other than yourself?
I feel like when I started coaching,
Okay. How long?
and I started coaching, I'd say 8 years ago, like a year
Oh,
after I became sober. So starting to coaching, getting to know people, we're all a lot more alike than you think. And really just going through uh, starting to take, like, everyone's like, where's the best place to start? Literally, you just have to take action, right? And me going through my own journey, starting with like taking group coaching classes, doing like the Zumbas, whatever, not strength training yet,
yep.
being, a ton of cardio, like, and even at my beginning of my fitness, I was doing way too much cardio. I was not strength training. And these are the things that you kind of learn as you become a better coach. You start learning from people that know more than you. You start taking more courses. You start working with people. You start to see how bodies function, that everyone's different. So it's really like going through my own path. I feel like I'm literally like could be any one of those people that watch my videos. And when I talk, I speak from experience and having gone through that stuff. And so it's like I know I was that person that binge drank and then told my husband that he was eating too much sugar. I was the person that was like, carbs are gonna fucking kill you. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. It's like, oh my God, I step on the scale and learn and think, I just gained fat overnight. That's not how it works. So it's like when you know better, you do better. So it's just going through my own path and learning and getting educated as I went through it.
And Beth, that's what makes you a fucking beauty of a coach because I'm not someone like I'm starting a business. I'm sure as hell not going to get business advice from someone who's unemployed. I'm going to go get business advice from a millionaire. You weren't the person who came into this of saying, I'm the be all end all. This is the way to do it. You grew throughout of it,
Yeah.
and you've shown that to people of, I was the person who did the yo-yos. I
Hmm.
was the person who was overweight. I was underweight. And I love how you don't take no fucking bullshit from the comments
Yeah.
below. You call those people out immediately. And that's
Hmm.
what's so enjoyable is just a real person giving you real fucking advice
Yeah.
that's actually usable for a long period of time. When it came down to like, and you don't have to break it down if you don't want to. I know it's
Hmm.
probably a hard subject for you, but when it came to getting out of, the alcohol side of things, are you finding now as a coach you're able to, help other people with sobriety as well, or are you sticking to just fitness and nutrition?
No, a lot of people come to me, also that are struggling with their sobriety too. And I think, you know, from my, being addicted to alcohol, and some people think, even though food addiction is not a diagnosable thing. Like, it's not in the, what do they call it, the list of an eating disorder or whatever. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So until that is the case, unfortunately, like, you cannot be addicted to something that you need in order to survive. But I feel like I can relate to people in the way where I understand what it's like to want something all the time that's not necessarily good for you and not knowing how to stop.
That's well said. That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, people always compare, well, you can never drink alcohol again. It's like, that's because it's actual poison. It affects my brain chemistry. There's a lot more to it than, it's not food, right? It's like,
No,
it's
100%.
a fucking chemical. It's like a class one carcinogen. So it's made to keep you addicted. Food, unfortunately, it's made to taste good. So you want more, right?
Yep.
But that's not necessarily an addiction.
Yeah,
So,
and I know.
it's really comes down to the behavior and your mindset around the food. It's like, I'm a sugar addict. It's like, okay, are you in your closet, like with the sugar bag, eating spoonfuls of sugar? So that means that you're telling me that you're actually addicted to fats and carbohydrates, because a donut also has fat and carbs in it. So you're not addicted to sugar, right? You're addicted to
Yeah.
the fact that, like, you're using food as a means to cope because it's giving you something that you're lacking somewhere else in your life. And so it's a momentary, like, that's why people emotionally eat, they stress eat. Eating is a parasympathetic response, so it actually automatically calms you down when you do eat. So it's like, you know.
I just got to say, that, and I know it's probably a subject that we could go into for 4.5 hours, but
Right, right.
it is very frustrating from just the general public, not someone with your knowledge, to think that like it's okay for professional athletes, professional musicians to have these promotions on all of their stuff for this like fast food or gambling or alcohol, or finally there's no cigarette ones in anywhere because they finally realize, oh, that's just so bad, we should probably stop this.
Hmm.
But where you talk about how people are trying to find these highs from food to get this comfort level back that they're lacking from a different part of their life, it feels hard, and it doesn't feel like as common of a thing from the general public to find someone that can help you find that balance. Like
Yeah,
someone that can scientifically or at least prove that like, hey, this is the way my life is. I have to write in a journal for a week's long time of everything I eat, everything I do physically, like just every day. I just sat on the couch and watched half hour of television. I just went through TikTok. I just went through this and figure out how you can get those highs back from things other
yeah,
than the garbage dog shit food. There's got to be a
yeah.
way to do it. It just doesn't feel like it's something that's prioritized.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's why I talk about a lot about mindset and behaviors, because everyone knows how to lose fat. Every single one of us knows what to do. We know we need to probably eat less and move more, right? In a nutshell. Like it's not that simple though.
100%.
But it's really our behaviors and our mindsets. It's like, okay, so you're overweight maybe because you use stress as a means to cope and you stress eat. Okay, so what could we do instead of stress eating? Like no one teaches people how to do that, right? But that, I mean, that we do with my coaching because that's the main thing. It's like your behaviors and mindsets. How can we create a lifestyle that you can stick to? How can we, help you work on the emotional eating? Like, what can you do instead? Maybe pause or go take a walk, call a friend, take a bath. But it's all those things that will lead you to help you with that emotional eating. But like you said, not a lot, it doesn't sell and it's not sexy,
Oh fuck, I get that. It would be sexy
you know?
eventually. Like you live in America, correct?
Yes,
Yeah. So
Maine.
I'm in Canada, and
Hmm.
we as a like North America, why? Like our obesity rate is ridiculous. Like
Yeah, us too.
I do really enjoy how you touch and you dive into the emotional side of things. I believe that you, from posts I've read anyway, you fought with anxiety majority of your life.
Oh yeah, yeah, still do. Hmm.
So, and maybe it's just anxiety as in a broad spectrum. Personally, for myself, like I was so ignorant to what it was. I was in a car accident 2 years ago where I was in the hospital for a little while and people had passed, and it was just a terrible
Mm,
situation. So I've only recently, over the last like year or so, really started to understand what anxiety is. And it's
mm,
very eye opening for someone who didn't deal with it and was kind of just in that mindset of just be stronger, like just work
yeah.
harder, just push that shit to the side and not realize exactly what it is and how much it can cripple your day and your time
Hmm.
and the way you eat and the way you exercise. So it's,
Yeah.
do you know, like, I'm assuming you've over the years personally you've been taking different steps into trying to manage your anxiety. Is there any step throughout this process of food, exercise that you found the most beneficial to fight your anxiety?
I think first I drank a lot because I thought that was helping my anxiety, but and actually was making it so much fucking worse because it's a depressant, right? So I would become so anxious after I drank, and then I would drink more to get rid of that anxiousness, right? So there was that aspect, but the anxiety continued, but not as much as it was when I quit
Okay.
drinking. But I find that getting outside and walking is probably one of the best things ever.
Hell yes. I agree.
I think like I call it vitamin N, vitamin nature. There's nothing like you can't be upset when you go for a walk or go in the woods. Like, how can you be up like mad? You
It just
know?
lets you take the fucking breath. Like
Yes,
I deal
yes.
with that like chest pressure all the time of, maybe you deal with it the same of like always feeling like you have fucking 9,000 things to do and you want to do them all and you feel like you're not doing them well enough and there's more to come and more to come and more growth that you want, and it's just that fucking voice in your head constantly and the pressure on your chest that when you get outside and go for that walk, like I could sit there in a forest or on a lake or just staring at like your story or the post of you looking at all the
Hmm.
fall colors, like
Yeah.
just feeling that weight come off my shoulder the same way a beer did. Like, not that I
Hmm.
don't drink now because I do, but it's
Hmm.
it's maybe once a weekend with friends casually. It's definitely been one of those things that in the past where if I had a shit day or a great day, I would do it on a
Mm-hmm.
good day. Like I come home
Right.
on a high of how great my day went and resorted and had the feeling of needing a beer. But
Mm-hmm.
just that weight off your shoulder of going for a walk or going outside, like it's just like
Yeah.
a nice reset.
Yeah. I
So I can
agree.
definitely appreciate it the same way as you. When it comes to your fitness, it does seem like you were in the cardio at some point in your life, and you started to move towards the weights and lift training.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the walks and stuff are good for your mental health, which there's obviously a huge side to that. You focus now specifically or majority of your time on weights.
Yeah. So I strength train about 4 days a week. And I think what most women don't understand is the body you want is from strength training, right? Everyone's like that toned look, that toned look. It comes from you going into the gym and lifting heavy shit for years on end.
No,
You
I
know what I'm
love that.
saying? And also, like for me, being in my 50s, I want to maintain my muscle. I want to build muscle. I don't want to be a frail. I think about future Beth, and future Beth does not want to be on medication and like a walker.
How does
I'm
that
50.
not give you enough anxiety to
You
make
know,
change?
exactly. It's like, you know, what do you want to be if future
Oh,
you? Do you want to be in the fucking hospital immobile? Like, no, thanks. I want to. My son is 13 or almost 13, and I'm still able to do things with him with ease. Running, whatever it may be. Like, I have no problem with it. I don't
that's
want to be
awesome.
the
That's incredible.
immobile parent. I
No, ain't
want to be
nobody
strong as
wiping
fuck.
my ass before 80. I'll tell you
No,
that right
exactly.
now.
I don't want my son wiping my ass. So there's that. And what's cool is he wants to strength train more. Like he goes twice a week. He has a personal trainer. Thank goodness, like he goes to the old gym that I used to coach at. A guy that specializes with working with kids. So he's lucky in that aspect and he
Yeah,
loves it.
yeah.
So that makes me happy.
That's a huge goal itself. I don't have kids, nor do I know if I want them yet. I'm 29, so I'm not pushing myself to get there by
Mm-hmm.
any means right now. But that goes. I feel like as a parent, and I'm not speaking for no parents right now. Okay, I don't need the moms coming
Right,
at
right.
me for not knowing what it's like to have a kid. I get it. It's got to be impossible, but it's got to be a motivating aspect of wanting to get fit and healthy. Like, not only do I want to right now, because like you said, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, when I'm 70, I still want to be able to go enjoy those walks and go
Yeah,
play like tennis or golf and not feel like dog shit for the rest of the week. But
yeah,
having a child under like your kid doing that is fucking huge. Like,
yeah,
to have your kid now focusing time on the week to be disciplined to go target those things. And first off, he's going to be one handsome dude with the ladies hitting the gym at this age. So
yeah.
that's a goal in itself. I wish someone would have told me that when I was 17.
And the thing is, what I notice from working with a lot of people is they are afraid to go in the gym, right? They've never been in a gym. They don't know how to strength train. I feel it like sucks that even me, I grew up in an era where we weren't in the gym. We were like, running outside and doing fucking Jane Fonda workouts. I want more people to be comfortable going into the gym. Like if you can get your kids into the gym early, that means that they are going to be growing up in that space, that they're not going to be afraid to go in. They're going to know that it makes them strong, it makes them powerful, less
100%
anxious. And so it's
confident.
really, yeah, it's a huge confidence booster. It's just going to help them all throughout their life, I think.
I've seen overweight women, and I only say women because it feels like, and I could just be overanalyzing this, but it feels like women in general, it's pretty clear that they are more judged based on looks over men by a significant amount. So I can see why it's so much harder on them to be looked at down because of their weight. But the women that I've seen do that conversion from being overweight to being in shape, they're a different human being. Like
Yeah.
I've talked about it with my wife. Me and my wife are both overweight, where the person that you saw at overweight and the person that you saw at fit are two different fucking people. Do you not have some feeling in your head that over this time that I get on this beautiful little planet, I don't want to be able to experience both sides of who I could be? Like
Mm-hmm.
being in shape and being confident and having just happiness of going out in public and not constantly thinking that people are looking at you or not looking at you, and you're like, no one cares about me, like being hard on yourself. It's yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's just such a change in someone's life to be
Hmm.
fit, to be in
Yeah.
shape. And one of the ones that I saw, actually, it was a woman breaking down that, like, she was getting judged, or women were commenting on her stuff saying, I'm not going to lift weights, I don't want to look manly or bulky. And she
Hmm.
like was like flexing and posing, and she's like, you think I got these fucking curves from running on a treadmill? Like, she was breaking it down so
Yeah.
directly of like, your body wants this mass, wants you to be lifting weight. Like, you
Hmm.
think that any of these girls get these curves or these, like, an ass or any of these things from jogging? It's just not where that
Yeah.
comes from.
No.
So if you were looking back right now at, 25-year-old Beth,
Hmm.
26-year-old Beth, what's the advice you'd give to her now? Like, what someone that's around my age that is constantly drowning in what social media is, and hopefully they stumble upon your profile in their journey for finding a way to take care of their health. Like, is there something that you'd give advice wise to someone at that age?
Get in the fucking gym.
Fair.
Start strength training, or start doing movement that you love, and just keep moving. People are so fucking sedentary. It really,
It's
I
true.
think that's a huge um, part of our obesity problem is because we are so much more sedentary. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. We were outside all the time. I mean, I was told not to come in until it was dark. We were riding our bikes. We were, roller skating. We did not have computers. We didn't have
Yeah.
any fucking games. None of that shit. People were factory workers. They weren't really having many desk jobs. Everyone has a desk job. All the kids are on fucking video games. Everyone's on their phone. No one is moving, right? And no one is up like doing stuff, chores. Everyone's getting their
No,
their
I hear
food.
you.
People aren't even fucking grocery shopping. They're getting their food delivered. They're
Yeah.
getting their dinner delivered. No one is fucking doing anything. So our NEAT, which is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, whatever, like fidgeting, me doing like sweeping, mopping, mowing the lawn, whatever, that is part of your overall metabolism, right?
Yeah.
And that makes up more than 20% of your metabolism. The most is your BMR. That's just what it takes to be alive. So that's like breathing, your heart pumping, blood circulating. That burns the most. And then it's your NEAT, right? And everyone thinks exercise, like your planned hour exercise, burns the most. No, like that's why I say we got to stop exercising to burn as many calories as you think you're burning. When you're just going to the gym for a fucking hour and then you're sitting the rest of the day,
I
when
have
in all actuality, like you should be still moving, doing stuff, but you have a sedentary job. You don't go on any walks. You're literally working out 1 hour a day, thinking that you are getting so much exercise when in fact you are actually not. And that is an eye opener. A lot of people don't get.
I agree. And it's funny that you say that. I'm laughing because my brother-in-law got a Peloton,
Uh huh.
and he just grinds at that thing and sweats his ass off for it to pop up. I don't even know, like 280 calories burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And the first week he had it, he come and he emailed or he messaged me and says, I can't eat a chocolate bar. I'm like, why? He's like,
Oh my god.
I just burnt less calories grinding my ass off on this bicycle for an hour than it's going to take for me to eat this chocolate bar. I'm like, that is in my unprofessional
Mm-hmm.
dog shit opinion, that is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Don't think of it that way. But
Right.
I also think that, like, convenience kills. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh, it's the
it,
biggest killer, I think, too.
people
Agree.
will pay an unrealistic amount of money for convenience for it to not help them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a wild way to think about it. But I was very lucky being at the age of 29. The iPhone didn't come out until I was in high school already. So I grew up with no phone, with dial up. Like,
Yep.
you're on the phone, someone turns on the internet, and you hear the beep beep beep
Mm-hmm.
like that crap. And I was lucky enough to only come home when the lights turned on, and I got raised as a child in that mindset until I was probably 17. The iPhone came, the entire world changed within a
Yeah.
decade.
Yeah.
So now my age group craves the 90s. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's all they want, is this stuff to go away. And you either are currently with it, as you can see with your growth on social media and you being able to create a career doing this,
Mm-hmm.
it's got its ups and its downs.
Yeah.
And there's much of the emotional hurt and issues that come from social media not being the same as everybody else as there is the pros of it, of being able to find someone like yourself. So I just hope that people like yourself and others continue to grow on social media to take over the
The
bullshit that's
bullshit.
out
Yeah,
there. Fuck.
exactly.
We need to weed
Agree.
it out somehow.
Yeah, it's just getting worse too. It's crazy. And it's
I'm
crazy
so
how you see just like there's always something, right? I'm like, and fitness and nutrition it really doesn't change.
no.
Like the basics are the fucking same, right?
Yeah.
Like, and people will just make shit up left and right. It's like, oh my God, nature's Ozempic. Um, you cannot, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're trying to
Ozempic.
monetize off literally fucking everything. Cortisol. No one ever talked about cortisol before, but suddenly everyone's making fucking cortisol cocktails. Now, everyone's drinking electrolytes. No one fucking moves. Why are you drinking salt water? Makes no fucking sense, but the fitness industry can make money off that, right? So it's like it never ceases to amaze me the new shit that comes up, the new bullshit trends that you're consistently like, and there are shiny objects that people want to grab towards. Like behavior and mindset doesn't fucking sell, but nature's Ozempic, you know.
Without people like you, I would still be drinking way too much um the electrolyte drink.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it
LMNT
called?
packets,
It's the
liquid IV.
Liquid IV. So we are Canadian. So we just
Mm-hmm.
recently got Liquid IV. Me and my wife had
Oh,
drove to the States because we're so close to like the New York border that
yep.
like we cross over, go to Target. We found Liquid IV at Costco. And we were just like, oh, like we're just getting replenished. And it's like, you're just drinking shit you didn't fucking need that you're just going to piss away anyway. Like it's
Yeah.
just spending money on stuff that's not necessary.
You're
And
paying for expensive piss.
exactly, like nothing good, nothing cool comes from it.
Yeah.
And it's craziness, but my a friend of mine took their child to the movies to see a movie,
Uh huh.
and the pre-movie credits were Ozempic ads specifically targeted at fat loss
Wow.
for a children's movie. Like they're going
That's
to see
crazy.
Despicable Me. They are 8. And
That's
they are
weird.
now seeing an ad come up to saying this pill can help you lose weight. It's not even
Ooh, I
like
don't like that. That's
it's not even looked
gross.
at as a diabetic pill, an insulin
Right.
pill. It's you want to lose weight, here's the pill to do it. Like it
Right.
feels like those movies you saw when you were younger, like the Wall-E, where you get like there's everyone's just sitting in a chair 300 pounds and stuff just gets brought to you and there's a pink pill and a blue pill and it just does what you need it to do. Just take this pill and call it a day.
Yeah.
Like Ozempic in a kids movie theater. It's just wild.
That's bizarre.
Um, one of the things I wanted to touch on, and maybe your week changes so much. You're definitely busy. You're first off, you're a coach, so you're constantly moving around with different people's routines and their day to days and helping them get through it. But with the social media aspect of targeting, like making sure that you're posting and getting content out there to explain who you are, and thank God you do. But is your week fairly like is there certain things that you do every week that are put in solid? Like in my day-to-day right now, I have certain times set aside on my hour banks of I don't move this time. This is
Yeah.
my walks, this is my workouts, this is my meal prepping on Sundays, going grocery shopping. Is there a part to your week that is fixed?
Oh yeah. All my workouts are in my calendar. Yeah. No one fucks with my workouts. But now, to be honest, I don't do one-on-one coaching personally anymore. Right.
Okay.
So my business has gotten to the point where now I have 14 coaches on my team.
Yep.
So they're able
Damn.
to be an extension of me. And so now I run my team.
Good
Instead
for
of,
you.
I had to make the decision of either working on my business or working in my business. Right. And so in order to grow, I had to hire out and make the decision that, I would no longer be able to do one-on-one coaching so I can help more people. So
That's
now
great.
my full-time job is running my team, and social media, and we do challenges and things like that. I still do coaching in my challenges. That's the only thing that I can fit in. I'm so fucking crazy. Like I couldn't even take on a one-on-one client and be able to be right there with them at this point in my life.
Which is a
So
respectable thing. Like
yeah.
anyone I think, would rather you do that than to feel like they're just a burden in your
Yeah.
day-to-day
Yeah.
life, right? Like at least you're saying it's enough. Like I can't give you 100%, so I'm not going to give you any of it. I'm going to focus on training other people
Hmm.
to be able to give you the 100% that I could,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When it comes to coaching, if you had someone approach you, let's just say it was me, and my biggest struggle right now when it comes to calories and count is if I'm on a day and do I just say no to going out for chicken wings with friends on a Wednesday if I'm already like if I get the text at 4 o'clock and I'm already, chicken wings is definitely going to put me over on my calories. Are we just saying no, or is there a response that you have to that? Do you just say
I
no to
think,
people?
I mean, I think that's a personal decision that's up to you, right? I think like there's occasions and then there's special occasions. Is this a special occasion or is this just another night out with your friends? Right?
Just another night, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like how many just another nights do you have a month? It's like one of those things. It's like you have to take a look at. It's like, okay, so you can go out with your friends. Doesn't mean you need to go fucking batshit. Like, did you already have dinner? There's all these things you can like look at. Like going out doesn't necessarily have to be all about food and drink. What about just hanging out with your friends and having a diet soda?
It's fair.
I think that you really have to make the decision and be okay. And this is where people kind of fuck up, right? I don't like to say fuck up, but they need to understand that you are an adult and you can make an adult decision.
Yeah.
But make the decision that's going to make you proud. And whatever decision that is, you shouldn't have any guilt for it. So if you choose to go out with your friends, that's fine, right? That's your decision. You have fun, but don't feel guilty for it and try to restrict the next day and say that you were bad. I can't believe I did that. No, because you're always one meal away from being back on track. Like when you think about it, right? Like that next day, you can be like, yeah, whatever that happened. I enjoyed myself. I'm glad I did that. And then you move the fuck on. You don't sit in it. And that's what a lot of people do. They sit in it and they're like, oh my God, I just ruined everything. And, like we were talking about earlier. So it's like make the decision and be
Yeah.
okay with it. But if it's a decision that you keep making that keeps holding you back, then you need to take a look at it. Okay, maybe I should stop saying fucking yes every single time my friends ask me to go out because I don't have to do that. Or maybe I don't have to drink all that. I don't have to eat like fucking 10 pounds of wings. So,
It it is it's the response that I was kind of expecting is like it's your life. Like
yeah,
I'm not as a coach going to tell you, no, stay home. What are you doing? Like we need to get this
right.
figured out. It's don't let it. I feel like, it seems daunting to most people to think about what it actually takes to lose weight when it should seem easier. As weird as that sound, like you taking an Ozempic pill or you just eating no carbohydrates, no sugar to go into ketosis or whatever it may be, you only eating meat, eggs, and avocado, whatever the fuck they're telling you need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It seems easier to focus on your day to day, one day at a time, of having a protein dense meal that's lower in calories and maybe even portion sizing. Like, is that something that you try and
Oh yeah, portions. It's all about awareness, right? A lot of people just aren't aware of what they're doing. So really becoming aware of your habits, what do you do daily? What do you need to add rather than take away?
yeah. Do you have any idea how many times me and my wife on a Saturday are just like depressed with how we look or feel, or the fact that we've went one extra week of fucking failing at these 900 dumb fucking things that we wanted to do. So we hop in the car and we go to the grocery store and we buy fruit and vegetables and meat, and we walk the outside of the fucking grocery store. Screw the aisles. We get like local or freshly made bread that will go bad in 4 days, and
Hmm.
all these things to and then we'll buy new workout gear, and we're okay putting all that effort into doing those things, but it
Hmm.
seems so daunting to just go each day of the week one day at a time with a goal to be under a certain amount of calories and be okay with, at the end of the day, I wanted one cookie. Have
Hmm.
a cookie. It fits in your calories. You start to see in a real life way that you can do these things
Mm-hmm.
and get through it and feel better. And it's just getting people past like, do you think there's a certain amount of time of doing something fairly consistently before someone starts to realize how beneficial it is? Because people give up every week and then
Oh
go to
yeah,
Monday again.
because action creates results, right? And results motivate you.
Mhm.
So it's like action, results, motivation.
I smoked for 10 years. I
Mm-hmm.
started when I was like 14 in like a tobacco capital of
I
my
smoked
small
too.
ass.
I smoked all kinds of cigarettes, Parliament Lights, Marlboro
Oh,
Reds,
yeah.
Virginia Slims.
I get
I
it.
quit
Like,
drinking and I quit smoking at the same time.
good for you. Like, were you just like a bit of a bitch for like 3 months?
You
Because I
know,
was a dick.
it was a blur. I ran myself. I ran all the time. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just running from it.
I was just
like a
running.
like a pack of Pall Malls was just running after you or whatever. But I noticed that like it was the 3 week craving, 3 month craving, even 3 year. Like I'm not even at 3 years now, but I am expecting it to happen. Like I'm
Mm,
actually at 1 full year right now of
hmm
not having a single thing of cigarette. Like the past years, I've only had maybe like a bachelor party, had a cigar or a
hmm
cigarette at the golf course, whatever it was. But I've done my first full year of my lifetime with zero cigarettes, zero
That's awesome.
cigars. And it just feels like when it comes to working out, it's that same kind of thing where I reached week 2, week 3, and I finally started to feel the difference. And
Yeah.
it gave me that boost to continue.
Yep.
Do you get that with clients?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because when they start to change their habits and start walking and exercising, you start to feel better. Right. I think that's what a lot of people forget. They look at the scale, but meanwhile they are sleeping better, right? They're,
Yeah.
they have more energy. Like those are big fucking deals.
Yeah.
That
100%.
we have to pay attention to. Like
Mhm.
that's part of our health. Like no one like thinks about your health. Like they just think about numbers on a scale. But what about your health? That's where
Even
you're going
when
to
you
go far.
get into the mindset of I'm going to eat better and exercise and take care of myself, your mindset is immediately at I want to look thinner. I want that scale to say a
Mm.
smaller number. When my mindset changed to I want to feel better. I don't want to be
Hmm.
fucking depressed. I don't want to be anxious.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like shit. I don't want to
Yeah.
sleep like shit. I don't want to barely get my workday done without being wanting to sleep. And
Yeah.
that was where it changed for me, where I wasn't worried about the scales number. I wasn't worried about looking sideways in the mirror and not thinking I had tits.
Hmm.
It was just mentally feeling better.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what's the next step for Beth? Like are you working on anything right now?
What am I
Ready,
doing?
are you ready for the next like what's the next step for you? You're continuing to grow this coaching business. You're
Hmm.
growing on social media. Is there any other big goals for you in life? Like when it comes to like fitness training, like world's strongest woman, or you're gonna start fighting people at 52?
No,
Like,
no. Gosh, what, honestly, I'd love to do a TED talk.
okay,
That's on my bucket list. I'd like to write a book.
good for
Um,
you.
yeah, so those, I don't know if I want to hire any more coaches currently. I think I just want to stay where I'm
Yep,
at
yep.
and just, make our product better, our services better, just keep working on that.
I think you
But
could crush a book when it comes
yeah.
to like your story, like 50 years on Earth. I bet you like maybe you don't do it on purpose, but looking at someone at 28, like you don't know fucking shit, and it's like
Hmm.
going through alcohol and drugs or whatever it was, and being able to
Hmm.
write about that, like the fight, the grind. Like I don't know if you've ever listened to David Goggins or
Oh
his
yeah,
books.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I read both of his books, and that's the fucking shit that gets me fired up. Seeing someone's
Oh yeah,
down and seeing where they went to, and I'm like, I'm not at their down. I'm already this
yeah.
far ahead. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, David Goggins is the man. I that
Yeah, he's a
can't
beauty.
hurt me. The
Oh,
audiobook got me through marathon training.
good for you. I had it in
um,
my mind where I wanted to run a marathon someday, and now I just keep thinking, I'm like, fuck, that is so
dude,
fun.
I trained for a marathon in the winter of 2020 and the marathon got canceled because of COVID. So
Ah,
talk about pissed.
that's a lot of fucking
Like
training for
I
that kind
went
of course.
right through to like peak week training. Like I think I ran like 17 plus miles or something and that was like the last run you do before the marathon, and it got fucking canceled.
That's awful.
I was like, I'm never training for a marathon again. Fuck this. I'm never doing a marathon. I was so upset, so bummed.
And
But
then 2
anyway,
years of just fucking the worst.
and
Well,
yeah,
I appreciate you coming on here. I
yeah,
appreciate just one of the things that I respect the most about you is just sometimes I crave this in friends and people in my personal life of just having someone that'll fucking tell you straight and will tell you their opinion and their knowledge in certain aspects, and you're not sugarcoating. You're just like, this is the way it fucking is, and I respect that about you. I've enjoyed watching your page and seeing you grow, not only in followers, but people that are interacting with you, people that are seeing success from you, your team growing. And I just, as someone in fucking little town in Canada that got to talk with you and hear about your life and your story and your dreams, thank you. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for
yeah.
being
Thanks
who
for
you
having
are,
me.
and thanks for helping people.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Is there a place where someone could reach out if they're looking for a coach to join your system with your other coaches, or just where they can find your social media presence?
Yeah, I'm BethFerracofitness.com. You can fill out an application and book a call from there if you're interested in coaching. And then I'm at Beth Feraco Fitness on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram. I have a podcast called Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt. That's
Oh,
on
nice.
Spotify, iTunes, Apple, anywhere you can watch or
That's
listen, I should
amazing.
say, to a podcast. Yeah.
If you're looking for some straightforward, no bullshit, someone that's just gonna fucking tell you how it is and explain even the things that you buy at like Costco, things that you're using for protein, the way that you're moving around in your life, follow her, give her a like, go see her content, because I promise you right now you'll scroll through it for 2 hours and realize, oh shit, I need to go for a run or something here. Thank you so much, Beth. I really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you. You too.